Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Commission. Kessler International is present here tonight. A couple months ago, I came before you to authorize me to enter into a contract for Kessler to do an internal control review of our Community Development Division. They did a very extensive, nearly 2-month-long not investigation, but examination of that department. At first, we asked them to look specifically at the CHODO, i.e. Home Fund program, and some of the other CDBG programs based on an initial review by the City Attorney's Office, and then after a consultation by me, Mr. Jerry Ferguson, and Peter Parkin. Kessler did come to the city of Deerfield Beach and do a week-long on-site examination and interview process with staff and other agencies that receive funding from the CDBG program and other federal funding. I'm very disappointed because when I initially made the recommendation for us to go into this agreement with Kessler International, I had made the comment that this was not a criminal investigation. Unfortunately, after examination by Mr. Kessler, as you will find out from his presentation,
Could you shut that
there
down?
is,
Sorry.
thank you,
Thank you.
there is probability of alleged criminal activity in some of these programs. So I will ask Mr. Kessler, who is the president and owner of Kessler International, to please come up and prepare and present his report, and I will distribute those reports now. This report is approximately 200 pages long. That is the audit itself. The actual backup material that supports this audit is nearly 2,000 pages.
My name is Michael Kessler. I'm the president of Kessler International. We're an international forensic accounting firm. We also do investigations. I'm a certified fraud examiner. I'm a certified forensic accountant. And I'm a certified internal control auditor. The nation appears to be in the midst of moral crisis. Unfortunately, I would like to tell you otherwise, but Deerfield Beach is no different. My limited review, and it was a very limited review, of the CDD disclosed significant internal control breaches, as well as suspected fraud regarding the oversight responsibility by certain city employees and subrecipients entrusted to administer city, county, state, and federal funding. This has resulted in findings that are at the very least worrisome and others indicative of illegal activity. My review also disclosed favoritism towards certain recipients and other individuals, including relatives of city staff, which in some cases the actions of those involved appear to be illegal. The entire process of awarding funds to deserving individuals should have been administered in a documented, precise, calculated, unbiased manner. But what was revealed during my review was this was clearly not the case. In fact, my review only touched upon certain aspects of an extremely limited number of programs involved in the awarding and distribution of funding by the city. It strongly suggested that other areas be considered for audit, and that in the future an internal control review similar to mine be contemplated on a regular basis. Concerns about the methodology and the selection of contractors, the altering of work specifications prepared by paid contractors to the city, and then the ultimate awarding of bids and the issuance of change orders. My review also revealed a complete lack of adequate documentation for many of the nonprofit subrecipients who readily took taxpayers' dollars. I also recommend that my report be referred to the United States Attorney, the Florida Attorney General, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Inspector General, and to IRS Criminal Investigation Division, so that the findings in the report can be further investigated, and if criminal acts are proven, the individuals responsible can be brought to justice. City employees who betray the trust of taxpayers harm the integrity of our government. Left unchecked, what I found would have continued to rip the very fabric of this city. We found situations where applicants simply lied on their applications and received funding for which they were not entitled. We saw situations where bids, where the city had paid for an individual, a company, to come in and give an estimate, and they paid for this estimate so they knew what it should cost to do a job. Yet the staff in CDD changed the estimates so that it would go out to bid with less than the qualifications, so that if you ever took what the city paid for versus the contractor, the bids would look identical or closely in dollar value. But in fact, the specifications contained within them were different. We found many times payments in excess of what the regulations allowed. We found payments that homeowners were responsible for, paid by the city. We found mortgages that were supposed to be satisfied within a 5-year period of time. These are depreciating mortgages where if you live in a house for 5 years, that mortgage goes away. You never pay a nickel on it. City employees satisfied those mortgages after a year. We found mortgages below the values that they should be. We don't understand why certain vendors were even used, because you were paying the vendors for work that the city employees were doing. We found major bidding irregularities. We found situations where bids would be let, change orders would be submitted. The information on the change order were identical to what was in the bid, so you paid for the same things twice. A home that was built by the WDBA that wasn't able